네.
네.
네. 오빠는 이거 갖고 있어요? 오빠 저거는
이거 뭐 성경 공부하면
What I'll do is I'll give you a signal from the back whenever we're ready. Okay. I'll shut the music off and then I'll turn the mic on.
Okay.
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 Is that
After
okay?
1 minute, so because I will stop.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go to the back and I'll get the mic on and then I'll give you the signal. Okay.
Thank you. 자, 우리 다 같이 묵도하심으로 고 앤드류 킴 형제의 장례식을 함께 시작하겠습니다. 다 함께 묵도 드리시겠습니다. 그리스도께서 죽은 자 가운데서 다시 살아 잠자는 자들의 첫 열매가 되셨도다. 아담 안에서 모든 사람이 죽은 것 같이 그리스도 안에서 모든 사람이 삶을 얻으리라. 아멘. 생명의 주인이신 하나님 아버지, 오늘 고 앤디 형제의 장례 예배를 주님께 올려드립니다. 앤디 형제를 떠나보내는 유족들과 친지, 그리고 친구들의 마음을 위로하여 주시고 하나님의 사랑을 더욱 깊이 느낄 수 있도록 인도하여 주시옵소서. 예수님 이름으로 기도드립니다. 아멘. 우리 다 같이 신앙 고백하도록 하겠습니다. 전능하사 천지를 만드신 하나님 아버지를 내가 믿사오며 그 외아들 우리 주 예수 그리스도를 믿사오니 이는 성령으로 잉태하사 동정녀 마리아에게 나시고 본디오 빌라도에게 고난을 받으사 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으시고 장사한 지 사흘 만에 죽은 자 가운데서 다시 살아나시며 하늘에 오르사 전능하신 하나님 우편에 앉아 계시다가 저리로서 산 자와 죽은 자를 심판하러 오시리라. 성령을 믿사오며 거룩한 공예와 성도가 서로 교통하는 것과 죄를 사하여 주시는 것과 몸이 다시 사는 것과 영원히 사는 것을 믿사옵나이다. 아멘. 지금 이 시간은 기도 시간입니다. Prayer time. 우리 허영미 권사님 나오셔서 예식을 위해 기도해 주시겠습니다.
기도드리겠습니다. Compassionate and gracious God, our Heavenly Father, we have gathered today because Andrew passed away. We are in grief and deeply saddened by the loss of Andrew, who left us suddenly at such a young age. Father, grant unto Andrew eternal rest. May the soul of Andrew depart through your grace. To Andrew, to you, my Lord. Touch us with your healing hand and wrap your arm of love around us. We may be comforted and seek you for support now and coming days. May the fond memories we shared with Andrew be cherished and remembered. I pray that you will protect Connie and his mother Andrew has left behind. Father, please continue to remind us to live in unity and fill our hearts with your love for each one of us left behind. In Jesus' name we believe and pray. Amen.
자, 우리 다 같이 하나님의 말씀 함께 읽겠습니다. Scripture, John chapter 30, verse 16. 여기 순서리에 보면 말씀이 같이 나와 있습니다. 우리 다 같이 하나님의 말씀을 읽도록 하겠습니다. 하나님이 세상을 이처럼 사랑하사 독생자를 주셨으니 이는 그를 믿는 자마다 멸망하지 않고 영생을 얻게 하려 하심이라. 아멘. 지금은 더지 타임입니다. 우리 조중형 우리 삼촌께서 나오셔서 조가를 해주시겠습니다.
주 날개미 내가 편안히 쉬되 감기고 비바람 불어와도 아버지께서 날 지키시리니 거기서 편안히 쉬리로다. 주 날개니 평안하다. 그 사랑 그늘 전이며 주 날개니 내 심령은 영원히 거기서 살리. 주 날개미 잠든 기분이 고달픈 세상 가운데 오심을 받고 영원한 안식을 얻으리라. 주 날개니 평안하다. 그 사랑 그늘 전이유. 주 날개미 내쉬는 영혼 영원히 거기서 살리.
목회를 하면서 패스터로서 가장 참 힘들고 어려운 자리가 장례식의 자리입니다. 저도 작년에 저희 부모님을 잃고 부모님에 대한 상실감, 또 그 이후에 우리 김은배 지사님을 또 보내드렸습니다. 그때마다 느끼는 것은 남아있는 유가족들의 마음과 생각들, 참 위로가 필요한데 위로가 되지 않아요. 말씀으로 위로하고 싶은데 와닿지가 않아요. 그들의 마음과 생각을 하나님께서 지켜주시기를 간절한 마음으로 기도하고 오지만 이곳에 와서 다시 만날 때 유가족의 모습을 볼 때 참으로 슬픔을 참으로 이겨내기가 너무 어렵다는 것을 저부터 체험했기 때문에 저는 잘 알고 있습니다. 죽음이라는 것 참으로 힘든 이별의 시간이지만 주의 고아를 막론하고 모든 사람에게 찾아오는 현실입니다. 그 누구도 그곳에서 벗어날 수가 없어요. 히브리서 9장 27절은 이렇게 말합니다. 사람이 죽는 것은 한번 하나님께서 정하신 것입니다. 그 이후에는 심판이 있으리라 라고 말씀하고 계세요. 이 땅을 살아가면서 우리가 어떻게 살아가느냐, 무엇을 믿고 살아가느냐가 그 이후에 오는 심판의 결과로 우리에게 찾아온다는 것이죠. 그래서 우리는 이 죽음 앞에 겸손할 수밖에 없습니다. 사람의 생명이 그 호흡이 코끝에서 멈춰질 때 모든 사람은 그 죽음 앞에 겸허히 모든 것을 내려놓을 수밖에 없다는 것이죠. 문제는 그 이후에 닥쳐올 어려운 형벌이 우리에게 기다리거나 아니면 하나님께서 우리를 위하여 예비하신 영원한 천국이 우리를 기다리고 있다는 사실을 우리는 기억해야 합니다. 이 사실 때문에 우리를 묵묵히 지켜보시는 분이 계세요. 사랑하는 마음으로 지그시 우리를 지켜보시는 분이 계십니다. 그분이 바로 하나님이세요. 그 하나님께서는 우리에게 말씀하셨습니다. 하나님이 세상을 이처럼 사랑하사 영원한 죽음으로 달려나가는 그 우리들의 모습을 보며 안타까워하셔 사랑을 하시는데 너무나 많은 큰 사랑을 하셔서 자기 아들을 내어 놓습니다. 바로 죄의 대가로 치르게 하십니다. 대가는 우리가 살아가는 삶의 모든 부분에 지불하는 것입니다. 귀중한 물건일수록 더 많은 대가를 치러야 합니다. 밸류업을 한 것일수록 더 많은 것을 치러야 합니다. 페이를 해야 합니다. 학생이 공부를 열심히 해야 좋은 대학에 또 갈 수 있는 것처럼 우리의 인생 모든 것에서는 공짜가 없어요. 반드시 페이를 해야 되는 것이 있습니다. 그런데 인간 스스로 할 수 없는 것이 우리가 가지고 있는 이 죄에 대한 페이에 해결할 수가 없습니다. 그래서 아버지 하나님께서는 우리 스스로 이 일을 해결할 수 없기에 흠이 없고 거룩하신 아들 예수 그리스도를 이 땅에 보내십니다. 그리고 우리가 가지고 있는 모든 죄악을 가슴에 끌어안고 저 십자가에 달려서 피 흘려 돌아가시게 됩니다. 왜요? 하나입니다. 우리를 사랑하시기 때문에, 우리를 살리기 위해서 아버지의 사랑입니다. 저는 기은배 집사님 또 우리 김영환 성도님 함께 신앙생활을 한 지 오래되지는 않았지만 그 모습들을 기억을 합니다. 예배 시간이 되면 두 분이 항상 손을 잡고 오셨어요. 앞에서 세 번째에서 네 번째 꼭 앉으세요. 그리고 같이 예배를 드리시는데 시간이 좀 지나니까 이제 앤디를 데리고 오셨습니다. 앤디를 소개하고 같이 앉아서 예배를 드리는데 아버지가 얼만큼 아내를 사랑하는지 그 아들을 사랑하는지 그 사랑이 제 눈에는 보였습니다. 그 아들이 좀 더 잘 되기를 원하는 아버지의 마음. 그 마음은 그 인생이 좀 더 나은 인생이 되기를 원하는 아버지의 사랑일 것이에요. 우리 하나님도 마찬가지십니다. 우리를 이 땅에서의 삶 가운데 잘 믿고 살아서 죽음 그 너머의 세계로 우리를 인도하시기를 원하시는 아버지의 하나님 마음이 그 안에 담겨져 있는 것입니다. 여러분, 갑자기 떠난 이별 감당이 안 됩니다. 왜 감당이 안 될까요? 시간이 좀 있어서 먼저 떠나가는 그 길을 지켜볼 수 있었으면 함께 대화를 하고 뭔가 해주지 못한 것들에 대한 부분을 좀 더 해줄 수 있고, 이 시간이 되어지면 왜 이렇게 미안한 마음이 드는지, 이럴 줄 알았으면 뭐 좀 더 해줄 수 있을 걸, 이럴 줄 알았으면 먹을 거 하나라도 더 갖다 줄 걸, 이럴 줄 알았으면 좀 더 사랑해 줄 걸. 아쉬움이 남기 때문에 그래요. 나의 잘못이 아닌데도 너무나 미안한 마음이 들고요. 내 잘못이 아닌데도 꼭 내 탓만 같고요. 먼저 보내는 그 마음, 우리 가족들, 친지들은 가슴에 메어집니다. 이제는 다시 볼 수 없기 때문에 그래요. 그러나 저는 우리 앤디 귀한 형제가 사랑하는 가족들, 친구들, 또 모든 사람들에게 원하는 게 있다고 믿습니다. 그것은 여기 있는 모든 분들이 하나님의 사랑을 깊이 깨닫고 바로 우리들을 위해서 십자가에 못 박혀 돌아가신 그 예수 그리스도를 믿음으로 말이야 이터널 라이프로, 영원한 생명으로 천국으로 가기를 분명히 원하고 있을 것입니다. 사랑하는 유족 여러분, 친구 여러분, 가족 여러분, 이제 그 소원과 그 바람대로 이제 우리가 이 땅을 살아가며 다시 믿음 가운데 돌이키기를 원합니다. 아버지 사랑을 깊이 깨닫고 그 사랑으로 다시 서로를 사랑하고 주님의 말씀대로 순종하며 살다가 이제 우리를 주님께서 부르실 때 그분 앞에 나아갈 수 있는 모든 유족이 되어주시기를 원합니다. 앤디를 그러한 마음으로 잘 떠나보내시는 여러분 모두가 되시기를 주님의 이름으로 축원합니다. 기도하겠습니다. 하나님, 참 마음이 아픕니다. 어떻게 위로를 받아야 할지. 우리 유족들을 주님께서 친히 감싸주시고 눈물을 닦아주시고 위로해 주시기를 원합니다. 비록 우리가 스페셜한 시츄에이션 때문에 정말 짧게 간소하게 예배를 드리지만 하나님 이 예배를 기뻐 받아주시옵소서. 앤디를 주님의 품으로 이끌어 주시옵소서. 주님의 사랑으로 모든 유가족의 또 친구들의 친지들의 마음을 위로하여 주시며 주님의 사랑으로 덮어 주시옵소서. 예수님의 이름으로 기도드리옵나이다. 아멘. 네. 지금은 뮬러지 시간입니다. 우리 코니 나와서 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
I just wanted to thank everyone for being here to remember and honor my brother's life. And I've just been, thinking a lot about it lately, and thinking about, how much he loved to be connected to people, and he loved, any job where he could like talk to people, and he just really connected and kept those connections over many years. We had posted his passing on Facebook, and I read, all the messages, and they range from people who remember him from like Becker's, whom he owned a convenience store back in the 80s, through school, through all of his whatever he was doing, all of his jobs and everything, and people remember him from those times, and he always made a point of keeping those connections, and it's something that that I've never been very good at, and even now, when I've been thinking about kind of like who to reach out to and who to contact about this, I'd be like, oh, I just have to ask Andy, because he'll know like their name and their phone number. Yeah. We never had a very easy relationship, but I do remember when I was living at home and going to university in Guelph, he would always, when I came back on the weekends, he would always be willing to drive me to Guelph, and he would make me promise that I wouldn't fall asleep in the car. But if you know me, that was a lie, and I would always fall asleep in the car. But he still kept driving me. And he was there for my parents, especially over the last few years, in a way that I couldn't be. When my mom first got sick and then my dad got sick, he was there, 24/7, and he was always able to keep track of like all the medications they took and whatever they needed, their appointments and all of that. And I'll always be grateful to him for that. I'm also grateful to my cousins for helping him out so much over these past years, and for the rest of my family and friends. I love you all, and of course to Angel, and to just thank you again to everybody who's able to be here. I know we couldn't have anything bigger, and I can't see everybody who's out there, but thank you. Thank you. I don't know if Angel wants to say something, and then I'm not sure.
I met Andrew the same day, but I met Appa. May 2016. It was I thought I had to fight him too. The same as Appa. I was scared as a father and a brother protect the only sister. But Andrew was kind of person. He shown love on his own way. He has kind of mistakes, like everyone. He showed me kindness where I didn't have it before, as the same Appa. They're similar. Well, they're similar. Son and father were similar. And I think so. When Appa passed away, he could not be without him. He asked me for if he makes some mistakes. He asked me if I can forgive him, but I told him we always forgive family. The culture, my culture as a Mexican culture, Korean is completely different. I made a lot of mistakes. And I ask him to everyone, if I didn't did enough for Appa, oh Andrew, forgive me. I just don't mean it. I saw him the last time, and we have a plan. And this COVID killed us. But told him, like, when this thing is gonna be open, we're gonna be more together. But I think so he has different plans. Me and Connie, we try to help him the most, and all cousins. And this culture show me the real life, the real family. And no matter what, family is kept together. That's the motto. If you're a good or bad person, they never let you down. I will thank you for everyone to come to this day, and all cousins and all friends they came, people up there. And we know we go always be as a family, and we are gonna be together in bad and in good ways. And I really thank you for taking me as your family. God bless you guys.
That is the last. We want to let's pray again. And then I will benedict. 주님, 곤이 된 앤디를 보내면서 주님께 간절히 기원하오니 죽음 저 너머 새 하늘과 새 땅에서 비춰오는 희망의 빛을 따라 주님께서 예비하신 하늘나라의 집으로 인도해 주시기를 간절히 소망합니다. 이 땅에 남아있는 유족들과 지인들 모두 하나님이 우리를 극진히 사랑하사 독생자 우리 주 예수 그리스도로 말미암아 구원함을 얻게 하여 주시고 하나님의 그 크신 사랑으로 우리 유족들과 친구들과 우리 친지들을 위로하여 주시옵소서. 그리고 영원한 생명과 함께 천국을 소망하는 자들로 살아가게 하여 주시옵소서. 이제는 우리 주 예수 그리스도의 은혜와 아버지 하나님의 극진하신 사랑과 성령님의 강한 감동, 축복, 교통하시니 앤디의 죽음을 슬퍼하며 또 추모하며 새 힘을 얻고자 하는 모든 유족들과 가족들과 친지들 위해 지금으로부터 영원까지 함께 하시기를 간절히 축원하옵나이다. 아멘. 예를 마쳤습니다. 저는 또 가겠습니다.
네네.
네, 네. 고맙습니다. 네.
감사합니다, 목사님.
네.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm Andy's cousin. Thank you for coming today. We're just doing a little bit of a logistical jump here. Because of the restrictions, we can only have 10 people in here at a time. I'm literally kicking the minister out of the building, okay? Goma, you're going to bring Uncle Jung in, right? Okay, so she's gonna bring in one of our uncles. So it's a little bit strange what we're going through right now. And I know so many of you want to be here in person. And so thank you for understanding. I'm just gonna do a couple of announcements, and if I have time, maybe I'll share a few quick stories about my cousin. So today is just really a preview. We couldn't really do, I think, what any of us really wanted to do for Andrew today. We did what we need to do today out of necessity. We will be having a proper and formal burial service and reception and memorial for Andrew in the next couple of months. So once restrictions have been lifted, we'll be getting together for what I promised to be the party of the century, okay, for my cousin. He wouldn't want it any other way. So stay tuned, there's more to come on that. So for those of you who know me, who really know me, my friends who might be watching especially, I can have a bit of a morbid sense of humor at times, which makes this setting very appropriate, actually. You know, I was just sharing with the folks here something that we had done for Andy for Christmas. And there's many examples of these. You see, Andrew had just been in the hospital. He'd just gotten out of the hospital, and we were trying to do something special for him. Anyway, the thing that I had done was prepare a special card for him. And on that card, I literally put, "Merry Christmas, Uncle Andy. It's a Christmas miracle you're still alive." Now, thinking back on it now, it seems a little bit inappropriate. But there is only one person who could take that kind of ribbing from me, and that was my beloved cousin. You see, I think when a lot of people look at my relationship with Andy, they see an older cousin taking care of a younger cousin, or an older sibling taking care of a younger sibling, but that is not how I viewed our relationship at all. And I struggled to explain this to people when they asked me about this. I think that I can only really explain this with some of the experiences that I share with Andy. And I think that when we have the opportunity to all come together, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you about your experiences with Andrew. And I think this story will resonate with many of you. You see, when I was much younger, very, very young, there was absolutely no way that I could sit up and stand up in front of a group of people and speak to anyone, okay, let alone in public. The most minor and informal of social situations would freeze me into paralysis and panic. I would be so scared, right? But can anyone here think of anyone who might exemplify the exact opposite of that, right? To be bold and fearless, and to be so adventurous to the point of recklessness. That was my cousin. And when we were very young, I remember clearly all these little things that we did. He introduced me to so many things, and in a way, he was my mentor and my big brother. He introduced me to WrestleMania and Hulk Hogan and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, okay? To Michael Jackson and Thriller. He would go on public transit and go anywhere in the city, okay? regardless of what his mom and dad would want. He would take me with him on these adventures, and we would go from Scarborough to downtown to Bloor Christie, the heart of Koreatown, and we would go to this sketchy submarine shop. They had these video games, and we would play video games for hours. And along the way, like Connie conveyed earlier, he would greet everyone by name. He knew everyone, like literally everyone. And he would introduce me along the way as well. You see, he knew that I wasn't very comfortable in these situations, but he would be the first to introduce me. And he would say, "This is my cousin, Michelle." And that might strike some folks as kind of amusing, right? Because Michelle wasn't a very common boy's name. But my cousin knew about my shyness and lack of confidence and insecurity. And if anyone would dare crack a joke at my expense, who do you think would ferociously and without hesitation defend me? It was my cousin Andy. And this pattern would repeat over the years. Connie, you would be too young to maybe remember this, but when you were very young, I mean, even to this day, you know, your brother loved you so much, right? And you know, no sibling relationship is without friction, okay? But let me go back about 40 years, okay? And when we were very young, hanging out at your house, you know, Andy and I, we had managed to get ourselves into some kind of trouble, okay? And we knew it, and you saw it. And before Andy and I could react, we ran after you to stop you because you were on your way to rat us out to your mom. But you're too slippery, you're too fast. You got to her first, and your Korean was so exceptional, it was so fast. Oma, 했어. What? Wait, what? I couldn't even confirm if you were ratting us out or not. It was so confusing. It was so fast. But then when Imo took out the paint stirring stick, the meme stick, I knew she had given us up. And so Andy and I would run for our lives. But you see, that is what it's like between brother and sister. But he would be the first to always look out for you, you know, whether it was a slight insult to a slice of cake, okay? He always wanted to make sure that you had what you had coming to you and what you deserved, and he would be your most staunchest defender and guardian. And I remembered that because not that I would ever think to make fun of you or to pick on you, but after seeing Andy's very defensive behavior, I couldn't imagine crossing him in that way. And even in our more recent discussions, it was very clear to me that despite everything, there was only really one person in this world that he loved the most. Okay, honey? And that was you. All right, without question. Me, on the other hand, he couldn't get rid of soon enough. I really ragged on him, but he, because of this relationship, this very special relationship between he and I, he always accepted it in such good humor. That was just the nature of who he was. I could never get away with anyone else except Andy. But because of that history, and if you could understand the nuances and the dynamics of our relationship, it would make more sense to some. It's funny how some things kind of circle around, you know, over the last year, you know, when Andy had actually had, when Andy came to live with us, so much effort had been spent financially and resource-wise to support, you know, his parents. But within days of him moving in, he had, and this is classic Andrew, right? He had somehow managed to scrap together every reward point, loyalty point, or credit card, whatever. And he had I would encourage him not to do this, but Andy, once he's gotten a certain idea in his mind, he becomes very set and stubborn. It's very difficult to change his mind. But he was set on giving my little Emerson a gift, right? And so he got her this wonderful little VTech smartwatch. And again, it just really exemplified Andy's generosity of spirit, right? Oh, and I see how he has influenced all of our lives. He's really influenced mine and my family, right? And it breaks my heart to see, my daughter ask about Uncle Andy. And I'll always call Andy Uncle Andy. Everyone I call in my life now is in reference in relation to what they are to my daughter, right? So Auntie Connie, Uncle Andy, Grandma. I always call my own mom Grandma now, even when it's just the two of us. At the Hanggushipum, I call her Grandma. And everyone's like, hey, is your grandma okay? I'm like, yeah. So Uncle Andy, has really done so much to influence us. He's imparted, and whether he knew it or not, all these really important lessons for my daughter. My daughter now becoming very protective of her Uncle Andy. She just knew that he had a kind of vulnerability, right? His many physical and medical challenges. And whenever I would bring some food over to his place, I would ask her, hey, should I sneak Uncle some Big Macs and French fries? And she'd be, no, you must not. Uncle Andy must only eat healthy food. Right, honey? So I love him for that. I will just say that there are so many more things that I want to share, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about your experiences with Andrew. But Andrew had so many incredible plans in mind, okay? And I'm very fortunate because I was in a position to discuss many of them with them. What you might not know about Andrew was that he was enrolled in these online courses. He had made incredible progress towards self-development and working towards different certifications. He and I had these plans to take over the world, and there were certain things that we were going to do to help us get there. And he was very motivated. And so I don't want anyone for a moment to think that Andrew was in any way in a situation where he was sad or felt isolated or alone. In fact, I personally have the best friends in the world. One of the things that Andrew participated in with us was our weekly Friday night poker, online poker. I mean, I had to do a bit of a calculation here to determine if exposing Andy to some element of gambling was a good idea or not. Ultimately, I decided that the pros outweighed the cons, okay? And he was a wonderful addition. He showed up for nights when I didn't even show up, okay? So my friends became his friends, and many of my friends knew Andy as we were growing up because we would all hang out together. And so to my friends, thank you for including my cousin. He was part of all of these great things, and he had a very positive outlook on things. And I think, if anything, this experience can kind of teach us is, so often we put something off and we'll say, we'll deal with that tomorrow. Oh, I'll do that thing next week. That can wait till next month. Let's wait till COVID's done, and deal with it then. But that wasn't Andrew's approach. He was always living in the moment. And that is one of the greatest, I think, lessons that he has imparted on me. A couple of acknowledgements. Angel, Connie. I mean, you guys have been through a ridiculous couple of years. And what you guys have done to support Andrew and the family cannot really be acknowledged enough. Cousin Terry. How many times did you have to dive into hell and rescue my rascal cousin more times than I have fingers, right? The rest of my family, my wife, Teresa, oh, honey, I think a lot of cousins expressed some concern when Andy was moving in with me, not to me, but to Teresa. And, but honey, you are so wonderful. And my beautiful little Emmy, you guys are so amazing to Uncle Andy. And I will always, always love you and thank you for that. Our family is so incredible. I can go on for hours. And really, we will. And so this is going to be something we'll continue over the next several weeks and several months. And I can't wait to meet everyone too, those of you who have been part of Andrew's life. I can't thank you enough for being part and sharing part and being a part of his life experiences. London family, here to represent. Ginny, Carol, thank you for being here. Okay, Jennifer, Billy. Billy beat the crap out of us, but Billy was like our idol, okay? He had like the best kung fu and art. We would Andy and I would always try to imitate Billy. And the same thing with our cousin Davis, right? We idolized Davis, and whatever Davis said, it went, and we were always trying to do whatever cousin Davis was doing. Sanai, who was very intimately aware of all of the medical issues that Andy had been going through. I can't say enough there. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for Andy. I've only been a part of Andy's life again very recently. But in the preceding 10 years, there was a lot of people who had been part of Andy's life and supporting him. So thank you. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything, Connie? Okay, so we do have some pictures and things to share. So we're going to do that now. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's Andrew's last live on-air broadcast. He wouldn't have it any other way. He loved that whole scene. So if you're part of Andy's cruise or clubbing or hospitality scene, again, really looking forward to connecting with you and sharing stories with you. So let's go ahead and do that. Thank you, everyone.
Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the top though. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, you're still a team. Family, I'll feel your dream. In the future, can't wait to see. You open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometimes. Night days with my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel giving you in here half a breath. I know you're still living your life after death. I need to hope, strength I need to believe. My thoughts bigger, just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time, us in the thick, chopping new clothes, you and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gonna give anything to hear half your rap. I know you still living your life after that.
Want me to?